Sometimes our favorite TV shows go to places we never expected. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're diving into the darkest moments on TV programs, and we're starting with times South Park got much darker than usual.
Did I ever tell you that my father played for the Denver Broncos? No.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 darkest South Park moments.
I can't watch! Let's get out of here, Kyle! Why would Spielberg and Lucas do this? Come on, let's go!
For this list, we're looking at the darkest, grimmest, and most disturbing moments from South Park. Which moment made you think, alright, now that's messed up? Number 20, Garrison's way too detailed surgery. Season 9 of South Park begins with the boys' teacher undergoing gender-affirming surgery. As it's happening, we're given explicit and overly precise details by the doctor as to what is taking place. We're also shown graphic stock footage so we can see exactly what's going on. Showing gender-affirming surgery on TV in 2005 was forward-thinking, and in theory, progressive. But the way it's presented here is undeniably dark and difficult to watch, because it's unlikely anyone who tuned into this cartoon expected to be confronted with vivid live-action surgical videos. Number 19, Superman's new infatuation. Best known for playing Superman, actor Christopher Reeve was an inspiration to many for the strength he demonstrated after enduring an accident that left him with paralysis. So, of course, South Park decided to spin that in the worst possible way.
As most of you know, I am a strong supporter of stem cell research.
In real life, Reeve campaigned actively for an increase to the federal funding of embryonic stem cell research. On South Park, this somehow translated to him being obsessed with draining fetuses and essentially turning into a power-hungry supervillain.
You won't stop me, Hackman!
To say this is a gross misunderstanding of the science on top of being offensive is an understatement, so it definitely left a bad taste in the mouth of anyone who had looked up to the actor. Number 18, athletic babies. Basically, the entire premise of this episode is dark. It centers on Cartman and the boys taking advantage of innocence with drug issues.
Who cares? Lots of people will when I tell them!
We made $1,000 in 11 days.
You what?
However, perhaps one of the darkest moments is when Kyle ultimately decides to join Cartman's scheme. Worse yet, he originally intended to help the victims after seeing an extremely sad commercial. It's tough to pick the absolutely darkest part though, whether it's Kyle's involvement, just witnessing what's happening at all, anytime the characters try to justify their actions, take your pick. Number 17, Human Centipad. This might be one of the most disturbing and shocking predicaments Kyle finds himself in during the entire series. And all because he didn't read a user agreement.
I'm not going with you!
You've agreed to all of this! Hey!
It's not long before Kyle unwillingly takes part in a dark experiment reminiscent of the one shown in the notorious film The Human Centipede. The only thing perhaps more disturbing than the experiment itself is the fact that all Steve Jobs seems to be concerned about is whether the device can read or not. Wait, no. We'll give that honor to Cartman's pure joy at using the configuration. Number 16, Steve Irwin. At his Halloween party, Satan confronts someone for wearing a Steve Irwin costume, since it's making some of the other guests uncomfortable.
Oh, jeez.
But the man reveals himself to actually be Steve Irwin. Of course, that means he's not wearing a costume at all, so Satan promptly kicks him out.
Oh, but then dude, no costume.
This brief exchange was seen as problematic for many reasons, from the way the character is depicted, to the fact that he's in hell at all, to the fact that it aired less than 2 months after the crocodile hunter was killed. The most ironic thing about this joke is that, apparently, there is a line that you shouldn't cross, even for Satan and the denizens of hell. But there are no lines for South Park. Number 15, the weapon mishap. At the Park County Fair, the boys con a vendor and get themselves some weapons to play ninja. What could possibly go wrong? Well, this. Butters essentially loses his eye, and the boys are left to figure out how to deal with it. And naturally, they do not fare too well.
I'm getting woozy.
Shut up, Butters.
Poor Butters, who's barely even conscious, is forced to pretend that he's a dog. But the people of South Park don't seem to be concerned with that either, instead focusing on Cartman's wardrobe malfunction, if you can even call it that.
Dude, they don't care we knocked Butters' eye out with weapons? Just run with it, dude.
Number 14, Cartman takes Mel Gibson fandom too far. For whatever reason, Cartman loved The Passion of the Christ. How much did he love the film, you might ask? So much that he created a Mel Gibson fan club. Okay, that's a choice. Oh, but it gets worse. Wait until you see what he's wearing and get a good sense of what his intentions with this club truly are.
We all know why we're here.
Worst of all, the clueless members who join the group are oblivious to what he's trying to do and simply follow along.
Oh, this is fun!
And if that wasn't bad enough, they never actually realize what they're doing, as they only decide to leave the club after seeing how bonkers Mel Gibson is in person.
No, come on, people, we're so close to completing my final solution!
Number 13. Garrison and Garrison's father. In Worldwide Recorder Concert, Garrison is shown to have a complicated relationship with Garrison Sr. Based on how Garrison behaves, viewers are led to believe Garrison Sr. did some pretty messed up things to psychologically scar the teacher as a child. But that is not at all the case. In fact, it's actually quite the opposite. In a shocking twist, the issue with Garrison's father stems from the fact that he never actually did anything to Garrison in the first place, and this results in Garrison believing that Garrison Sr. had no love for his child.
What?
Was it that I was ugly?
Oh my god!
I wasn't good enough for you. Was that it, Dad?
Well, no!
Thus, the episode sees Garrison pressuring Garrison Sr. into assault to prove his love. We can only gasp at this strange twist of reverse psychology.
You stood by and let it happen. You saw him come home drunk and then just go right to sleep.
I'm not listening!
Face it, Mother, he never abused me.
Number 12. Indiana Jones. When Stan and Kyle mentioned that one of their friends was assaulted, audiences knew that South Park was about to cross the line like never before. Of course, nobody could have predicted that the friend in question was Indiana Jones, who was forced to suffer at the hands of Steven Spielberg and George Lucas on multiple occasions throughout the episode, with each instance being more graphic than the last.
You're looking good.
No, what are you gonna do to him?
While there is some pretty clever satire here, this incredibly dark imagery had a lot of people feeling grossed out, disturbed, and uncertain if they should be laughing or in shock. Was Kingdom of the Crystal Skull really that bad?
We can't help him now.
But I thought it was pretty good!
Number 11. Cartman finds out who his father is.
No! No!
Now eat your chili!
South Park used to have a recurring joke that Cartman did not know who his father was, or that he simply didn't have one. The show even had a two-parter that teased the idea of revealing who this person really was, only to just not do it, much to the anger of South Park fans. However, the idea of discovering who that person is was revisited in the episodes 200 and 201. But much to his dismay, Cartman learns from his former rival Scott Tenorman that they are half-brothers and share the same father. Longtime fans know what this means. But just when you think things couldn't get any more dark, they do, when you see Cartman's reaction afterwards.
Don't you guys realize what that means?
Yeah, dude, we know what it means.
My dad was a ginger!
Wait, what?
I mean, obviously I take after my mom, but I have the ginger gene inside of me!
Number 10. Stan sees the world as feces.
Leave it to Trey Parker and Matt Stone to create a depressingly realistic portrayal of divorce, and then fill the screen with literal crap. You're Getting Old is all about the inevitability of change, primarily expressed through Stan's parents admitting that they're unhappy and filing for divorce. Soundtracked by Fleetwood Mac's Landslide, the final montage sees Stan solemnly going through the motions while trying to come to terms with Sharon and Randy's separation. Also, the boy turns to alcohol to deal with the situation. In its own slightly juvenile way, South Park cuts through the nonsense and captures the raw emotion of such a situation.
Number 9. Man Bear Pig goes on a spree.
Try and capture Man Bear Pig? Well, you were right. Ha, you were totally right. Man Bear Pig is real and, he's killing lots of people in our town.
Oh.
On the surface, a grotesque monster fond of murdering people is already rather gruesome. However, the real-life context behind Man Bear Pig's rampage is the real kicker. An obvious stand-in for climate change, Man Bear Pig is originally introduced as a figment of Al Gore's imagination.
Jump forward more than a decade, and climate change can no longer be dismissed as the ravings of a madman. Basically, serving as an apology, South Park sets the real Man Bear Pig loose on the unprepared public, who prefer to play Red Dead Redemption 2 while passing the monster-shaped buck on to the next generation.
Right thing. You think you know what that is, boys?
Yes,
Number 8. Kenny, Kevin, and Karen's parents go to jail.
Let's go! Get down now!
South Park rarely hesitates to tackle sensitive topics in the name of comedy. The Poor Kid episode launches with Kenny's parents being hauled off to jail for selling meth, and the kids being shipped off to an awful foster home. To make matters worse, but also funnier, the whole ordeal is filmed for a reality show called White Trash in Trouble, so Kenny's misfortune becomes a source of entertainment. Besides making a few timely and risky references to the Penn State scandal, The Poor Kid also has Cartman going to the absolute limits to try and avoid the stigma of being labeled as poor.
Well, guess I'm off to a foster home then. Hawaii is my first choice.
Number 7. Woodland Critter Christmas.
Now our critter Christmas can finally happen. Hail Satan! Hail Satan!
Christmas is the season of rejoicing, reflection, stockings, and in the case of South Park, satanic rituals intended to summon the Antichrist and any food eaten over the last 24 hours. Stan is bamboozled into assisting a group of woodland creatures who are preparing for the coming of the animal kingdom's supposed savior, a process involving sacrificing and eating a rabbit.
While nothing screams happy holidays like cute animals gorging on even cuter animals, South Park goes the extra mile by throwing in a blood feast. We imagine the woodland custom falls on the 13th day of Christmas.
Yay, sacrifice me to the devil! Yay, yay!
Number 6. The Priest Cleanup Crew.
Send in a cleanup crew, now.
South Park is not afraid to put religious institutions to the sword, and few jabs are as direct as the Catholic cleanup crew. After Butters and Father Maxie disappear, a group of priests is sent to expunge all evidence of any wrongdoing by the church's representative.
In order to catch the seemingly criminal rogue Father Maxie, the cleanup crew sets a trap by kidnapping a few victims to use as bait.
South Park effectively satirizes such a dark and hushed subject by presenting the priests as gangsters and utterly eliminating any subtlety.
Number 5. Butters' Home Life.
Butters, we are talking to you! Explain yourself, mister!
With people like Randy Marsh, Garrison, and Eric Cartman on the show, the innocent Butters presents a welcome break from all the rampant cynicism. Or that used to be the case, before Season 5's finale decided to focus exclusively on Butters' tragic home life. Along with refusing to believe Butters could ever be picked on, Steven and Linda Stotch welcome any reason to punish or mistreat the naive boy. The torment extends beyond Butters' parents, as the kid's grandmother is also the worst. Choosing just one dark moment is near impossible, but that time Linda tries to drown Butters has gotta rank high. There is no room for innocence in South Park.
It's okay, baby. Mommy will be with you very soon.
I think that, yep, it looks like the car's filling up with water.
Number 4. The school violence phenomenon.
On Friday.
Shooters in the hallway! All units report!
Gee, who could have predicted an episode called Dead Kids would contain a dark moment or two? When South Park Elementary becomes the scene of multiple incidents of violence, the town's adults, teachers, and students treat the problem as a minor inconvenience rather than anything meriting a proper discussion. As the only one truly troubled by what's happened, Stan's mother Sharon is ostracized, mocked, and eventually broken by the town. Any premise involving this kind of violence is destined to be dark, but Dead Kids is totally devoid of any optimism that a solution may be found in the future.
Oh, the school shooting?
Yes, the school.
Number 3. Britney Spears.
It's Britney Watch!
Considering South Park frequently injects religious figures into episodes, it's safe to assume celebrities are unlikely to be handled with kid gloves.
The cartoon outing Bono as a sentient piece of feces is all in good fun, we guess, but a disturbed Britney Spears pulling the trigger of a gun is considerably darker.
Despite being short half a skull, Britney continues to fulfill her duty as the pop princess. Released just 2 months following Britney's heavily publicized breakdown, South Park's episode presents the press as vultures feasting off the celebrity's fragile mental state.
Number 2. Chef's brainwashing and death.
Children!
Driven by anger and grief, the return of Chef was South Park's response to Isaac Hayes' quote, Scientology entourage, reportedly making a statement on his behalf requesting he be released from the show after the cartoon openly mocked Scientology. In this episode, Chef joins the Super Adventure Club, an organization of traveling criminals who utilize brainwashing techniques to convince new members to fall in line. The boys try in vain to save Chef, but the club's conditioning is too deeply ingrained to break. With all hope lost, South Park violently kills Chef in a scene that feels defeatist rather than cathartic. Without context, this moment features a beloved character being vividly killed. With that context, the return of Chef is heartbreaking. Number 1. Scott Tenorman's Special Chili.
Do you like it? Do you like it, Scott? I call it Mr. and Mrs. Tenorman chili.
Frankly, Cartman could easily have dominated this entire list. That being said, Eric's crowning act of evilness puts to shame all of the character's other vile acts. After being played and humiliated by Scott Tenorman, Cartman decides revenge is a dish best served with a side of cannibalism.
During a cook-off between the two, Cartman serves Scott a bowl of chili made out of the unsuspecting boy's own parents.
This is not some mean-spirited joke. Cartman genuinely resorts to murder and cannibalism as revenge for being conned out of less than $20. Eric is an unapologetic psychotic monster who, somehow, is rarely not hilarious.
Nya 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 nya. I made you eat your parents. Nya 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 nya.
Up next, we're heading to the animated streets of Springfield, where The Simpsons took a surprisingly dark turn on several occasions.
You're a smart young man, Bart. I hope you're smart enough to keep your mouth shut.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 darkest Simpsons moments.
Lord, I never question you, but I've been wondering if your decision to take Maud was, well, wrong.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most bone-chilling, psychologically tormenting, and visually disturbing moments from The Simpsons. Though we'll be excluding those from the Treehouse of Horror series, we'll also only be looking at moments from the titular show. So extended material like games, comic books, or movies are out. This list also has spoilers, so consider yourself warned. Is there a dark moment that we missed? Number 10. Banksy's Couch Gag. The artist known as Banksy provided a very memorable Simpsons moment. It came when he got to direct the couch gag for this episode. His rendition was hard to forget, complete with kittens, wood chippers, and children being forced to work with dangerous chemicals in an overcrowded factory. Those were just some of the bleak things Banksy showed that made viewers and the bigwigs uncomfortable. Some moments from the gag actually ended up getting censored by Fox.
Even though we're being broadcast on Fox, there's no need for obnoxious hooting and hollering.
The couch gag could be a bit tough to watch, but Banksy's social commentary was a clever way to shed light on some important issues. Number 9. Sideshow Bob's Revenge. Sideshow Bob has always been an unhinged individual, yet Cape Fear is arguably his most terrifying appearance. That's because in this episode, which was directly inspired by the '91 Robert De Niro movie Cape Fear, Sideshow Bob tries to kill Bart. Terrified, the Simpsons family goes into hiding and gains new identities.
Oh, now when I say hello, Mr. Thompson, and press down on your foot, you smile and nod.
No problem.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
I think he's talking.
That's still not enough to evade this bloodthirsty psychopath, though. Bart and the family managed to survive Sideshow Bob's pursuit, but his sheer dedication, pure bloodlust, and obvious insanity were enough to make us want to sleep with the nightlights on.
Well, Bart, any last request?
Number 8. Frank Lets Loose. Don't try to get too comfortable. It might just kill you. Down on his luck, Frank Grimes gets a job at the Springfield power plant.
You know? Yes. My name is Frank Grimes.
I'm Lenny. This is Carl and Homer. I'm Lenny.
But when he meets Homer, all he can think about is how a guy like him has a nice house, family, and friends. Everything that Frank's only ever dreamed of.
And what do you have to show for your lifetime of sloth and ignorance?
What?
Everything!
This unhealthy obsession with Homer leads Frank into a downward spiral, and he meets his grim end when he tries to follow in Homer's footsteps and loosen up. We wish Frank would have gotten the happy ending, but sadly fate, or the writers anyway, had other plans.
Frank Grimes,
or grimy as he liked to be called, taught us that a man can triumph over adversity.
Number 7. They killed Martin? Bart and Lisa tangled with their guilt after they thought they were responsible for the death of Martin.
Oh my God. We're murderers. Hey, I was trying to help him. At worst, I'm an accomplice. I'm an accomplice!
The panic all started after Bart decided to play a prank on the unsuspecting classmate. While Lisa tried to rescue Martin from the cliff he stumbled onto, she made things worse by accidentally causing him to fall off of it.
Grab onto this. Come on, wake up.
The apparent death was a dark enough moment just on its own, but the choices that Bart and Lisa weighed over were just as unsettling. Bart suggested they tell the authorities, while Lisa suggested otherwise. The drastic change in character for both of them was surprising, but thinking you're responsible for the murder will probably do that.
I can't live with the guilt. I'm going to Martin's house to end it all?
Luckily, it was revealed that Martin actually survived. Number 6. The babysitter is a criminal. Bart and Lisa were in for the shock of a lifetime when they discovered that Miss Botts, the woman who was babysitting them, was actually a wanted criminal.
Remember, she may be using a clever alias and should be considered armed and dangerous.
Home invasions are no joke, and seeing Botts tie the kids up and ransack the house did little to quell our nerves. Thankfully, Lisa and Bart are eventually able to break free and knock her out. What happens in the episode isn't the only dark thing. If things had gone as planned, this disturbing episode, which was the season 1 finale, actually would have been aired as the show's pilot. We're kind of glad that this intense episode wasn't the show's very first.
We're so sorry. We're so sorry.
Please turn off the TV.
Number 5. Bart's Clown Bed. When Homer builds a bed for Bart, the heartwarming gesture is soured by the fact that the bed resembles a gigantic clown.
If you should die before you wake.
Sure, Homer meant well, but there's just no way Bart's going to be able to sleep well with this. And we can't say we blame him. Bart's immense fear of clowns, which we're no strangers to, makes it impossible for him to sleep, let alone breathe. As soon as Bart sees this nightmarish contraption, all he can imagine is the clown trying to eat him, and laughing in a way that sends chills down our spines.
I hate you.
Next time, just get a bed from IKEA, Homer. One that's preferably not from the Traumatize My Kids collection.
I hope you never say a word.
Daddy.
Number 4. Homer's face melts off. Bart and Homer's relationship has always been a little rocky. That's the only real conclusion you can make when one of the show's longest running gags is Homer strangling Bart.
Boy must die!
One of the lowest points was when Homer was considerably late arriving to pick Bart up from soccer.
Hey boy, how was soccer practice?
But what makes this moment so horrifying is what Bart imagines happening to Homer. Homer, completely oblivious to his son's anger, rattles on. As he does, Bart imagines his skin melting right off the bone. The scene was visually startling and completely out of left field since everything else in the episode up until then was normal. Well, as normal as an episode of The Simpsons could be.
Marge, when kids these days say bad, they mean good.
Number 3. Homer's impending death? What would you do if you knew time was running out?
The Simpsons, son. I shall be blunt. We have reason to believe you have eaten poison.
When Homer eats a blowfish that might not have been cooked right, he's told he only has 24 hours to live. He creates a bucket list of things to do before he dies, like listening to Lisa play the saxophone and reconnecting with his dad.
I just want you to know that I love you, Dad.
This episode is dark, but maybe not in the way you'd expect. There's no creepy monster or disturbing axe murderer here, just a sinking feeling of dread as Homer is forced to confront his own mortality. Despite everything, Homer actually survives. It turns out his dinner wasn't that deadly after all.
He's alive! Homer! Homer, wake up! You're alive!
All right, stop it. Cut it
Wake
out.
up! You're alive! You're alive!
Number 2, tied to a boulder. Apart from being one of the show's earliest episodes, Homer's Odyssey is arguably one of its most serious because of the subject matter.
I might have known it was you, Simpson.
But, sir,
I don't want to hear about it, Simpson. You're fired. Oh, hi, girls.
Hi, Daddy!
When Homer is fired from his job at the power plant, he decides to take his life. His attempt is an elaborate one. He ties a large boulder to himself and tries to jump from a bridge. His family notices his erratic behavior and tries to stop him.
Well, live and learn.
There he is! Don't do it, Dad!
It's only when Homer saves them from getting hit by a car on the busy road that he's snapped out of his dishevelment.
Now I have a purpose, a reason to live. I don't care who I have to face. I don't care who I have to fight. I will not rest until the street gets a stop sign.
Number 1, Ned loses his wife. One of Ned's darkest hours came when his wife Maude met her untimely end.
Neddy, I've had about all I can take of Homer Simpson's torso. I'll get some hot dogs.
No footlongs.
I know. They make you uncomfortable.
It happened when she was struck in the head by multiple shots fired from a cannon. The force of the strike was so strong, it caused her to stumble from the bleachers and crash directly to the ground.
Maude?
Oh my lord, she's dead!
It was such a bizarre and sudden way to go, and Maude's death remains one of the show's most tragic.
In many ways, Maud Flanders was a supporting player in our lives. She didn't grab our attention with memorable catchphrases or comical accents.
Yar. Oh, Glavin, why, Glavin?
Unsurprisingly, the death is difficult for Ned and the kids. But the saddest moment might be when Ned goes to bed by himself. He instinctively puts his hand on the pillow next to him as if Maude were still there.
Sleep tight, Neddy.
Unfortunately, that's no longer the case.
Like The Simpsons, the Griffins have also seen some seriously dark times. And sure, Family Guy likes to push the boundaries, but did they go too far with these dark moments?
This is lonelier than a Kennedy family reunion.
Where is everybody? Oh yeah, they're dead.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 darkest moments on Family Guy.
Not to sound ghoulish, but any indication how much longer you're going to linger?
For this list, we're looking at the most tragic and unsettling jokes or moments from the show. Which of these jokes disturbed you the most? Number 20. Brian gives Stewie an STI. There are disgusting episodes, and then there's Herpy the Love Sore. A very dark and nasty piece of work. It concerns Stewie contracting herpes from Brian after the two become blood brothers.
I think we should hold hands more often. There you go. We're blood brothers now. You happy?
The story alone is quite disturbing, but what makes the whole situation worse are the revolting visuals that accompany it. Stewie has a graphic sore on his face throughout much of the episode, and at one point, we're treated to the gag-inducing sight of future Stewie's pus-leaking sores.
Look at my lip! It's a disgusting herpes sore! And now I have some very uncomfortable phone calls to make!
Gross-out humor has its place, but this whole storyline has a very unpleasant atmosphere about it. Number 19. Mayor McCheese as JFK. Assassinations are obviously a very sensitive subject, and joking about them requires towing a very fine line. Family Guy may have crossed that line here. Road to the Multiverse features a particular joke that sees Mayor McCheese standing in for JFK.
So Nixon won the 1960 election and totally botched the Cuban Missile Crisis, causing World War III. Wow, so I guess Lee Harvey Oswald never shot Kennedy? Nope, he shot Mayor McCheese.
Like Kennedy, McCheese is shot and killed by Lee Harvey Oswald. We're then treated to a very perturbing visual as Jackie Kennedy climbs out of the car and eats pieces of McCheese's head. Yes, the joke is that he's an actual hamburger, but it's playing on a very real tragedy and the unforgettably brutal footage that accompanied it. For some, the darkness may outweigh the humor. At least the show acknowledged its own bad taste.
That joke's not in bad taste, right? Oh, who cares? He's a cheeseburger.
Number 18. Michael J. Fox ruins Peter's shirt. And speaking of the show acknowledging its own bad taste, let's talk about Michael J. Fox.
You only have 2 white shirts?
Well, I had a third one, but it got ruined at that wine tasting at Michael J. Fox's house.
In a rather brilliant but upsetting gag, Peter sets up a cutaway involving Fox before speaking to the camera and informing viewers that they won't be showing the bit. Of course, this is the bit, with Peter explaining the cutaway and then showing a check with illegible scribbles.
Anyway, I sent him the bill, and he sent me this check, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to cash this.
Just to rub salt in the wound, they then show the cutaway anyway, with Fox spilling red wine on Peter's shirt. Like some of the other jokes, this one is rather distasteful, as making fun of things like disease can be taboo and insensitive. Number 17, Stewie's grotesque injuries.
Well, I'm off to buy imaginary groceries.
Season 8 is widely considered to be one of the show's worst, with many fans singling out the darker tone and increased use of explicit violence. That is on full display in Brian Griffin's House of Pain. Stewie is accidentally knocked down the stairs and gets a massive gash in his head that knocks him into a comatose state. He then spends the rest of the episode unconscious and with an incredibly vivid and rotting head wound. It even draws the attention of a raccoon. Even by Family Guy standards, the subplot was wickedly unpleasant.
Hey, I just found out it's November.
Number 16, aggressive cancer.
Yeah, that's a great achievement. Just like the first chemotherapy patient to figure out the handkerchief look.
As we now know, Family Guy isn't afraid to joke about things like assassinations and Parkinson's. Well, we can now add cancer to the list. A couple displays great enthusiasm at the man's new bandana, and they share a very brief moment of happiness before reality comes crashing back down with a grim reminder.
It's like you don't even have cancer!
I know!
Oh my God!
No, but I still have pretty aggressive cancer.
Many people don't like making light of cancer, especially highly advanced forms. That seems to be the case with this poor man, and while the show wants to make us laugh, we, on the other hand, just feel bad for the guy. Number 15, Peter drives through the Boston Marathon.
Holy crap, this is awesome! I haven't felt a rush like this since I won that marathon.
Let's just take a moment to acknowledge that Peter is a mass killer. Not just in this episode, but like in general. In one of his coldest moments, he participates in the Boston Marathon by driving his car to the finish line. Unfortunately, this means running over and presumably killing dozens of runners. It's an unbelievably grisly joke at the best of times, but this episode aired less than a month before the attacks at the Boston Marathon in 2013. The tragic connection resulted in the episode being pulled from various services, including Hulu and Amazon. There are dark jokes, and then there's watching the protagonist happily commit a massacre.
What do you guys say we all go celebrate at the Clam?
Number 14, Peter reveals Anne Frank.
Sorry, Chris. Me and my damn appetite. This isn't the first time it's got me into trouble.
Family Guy likes pushing buttons, and that often comes at the expense of real people, and it arguably doesn't get much darker than the Holocaust. Anne Frank was a Jewish girl who hid from Nazis in the occupied Netherlands. Her family remained hidden for years before they were captured on August 4th, 1944. Frank was subsequently taken to a concentration camp and died in custody. We still don't know how they were found, but Family Guy suggests it was because of Peter. He's shown hiding with the Franks and loudly eating potato chips, which attracts the attention of the Nazis. Few shows would approach the Holocaust and the murder of a family with such vigor, but that's what helps Family Guy stand out from the pack. Number 13, Peter defends Chris. In this episode, Peter develops a fondness for tormenting his friends and family.
Peter, what the hell is wrong with you?
What's wrong with me? You're the one punching yourself in the face.
The entire storyline is rather disturbing, as he uses Joe as a string puppet and pours boiling water on Lois. But it all starts with the horrific treatment of Kyle. Kyle has been pushing Chris around, literally, and Peter decides to confront him. After some goading that clearly hits a nerve, Peter sees red and physically squares up to his son's tormentor.
Shut up, Kyle.
I'm Peter Griffin. I'm a dorky, fat numbnuts.
Kyle, I said shut up.
You're a poop nose.
It is a very difficult scene to watch. The subject matter alone is rather unsettling, but the visuals and sound effects really add to its distressing nature. At least Peter realizes he's done wrong, as he runs home in a clear panic. Number 12, Peter has a stroke. Now, Family Guy is going after stroke victims.
Peter, are you winking at me? Oh my God, someone call an ambulance!
Peter eats dozens of hamburgers and suffers a huge stroke that leaves half of his body paralyzed. Viewers are then treated to a rather graphic depiction of stroke symptoms. Half of Peter's face droops heavily, his speech is severely affected, and he clearly struggles to walk as he drags his paralyzed leg behind him. At one point, he even slams his arm in the car door and fails to realize it. For some, these scenes may prove highly offensive, as they're asking us to laugh at the severe symptoms of a medical emergency.
Stroke! 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 Stop mocking me!
Number 11, the death of Cecil Pritchfield. This is a very unique episode of Family Guy, featuring limited commercial breaks, an extended runtime, no cutaways, and the presence of Sir Ian McKellen.
Send in, Stewie, please.
He plays Dr. Cecil Pritchfield, a child psychologist who attempts to dig through Stewie's psyche. He eventually breaks through the facade, but begins to suffer from a heart attack. He asks Stewie to get his medication, but the baby is unwilling to help, as the psychologist knows his deepest secrets.
Yeah, listen, you're not gonna like this.
Stewie sees an opportunity and watches Cecil die, although he later feels extreme guilt. This episode may have all been a dream, but it may have also been a memory. Either way, Stewie did a bad thing, and he is well aware of it.
Brian,
Yeah?
I did something awful.
Do you want to talk about it?
No.
Number 10, Everything with John Herbert. Not many shows regularly feature a character as open about crimes as bad as this.
That's a mighty full sack you're carrying.
Piss off, you perverted old freak!
Herbert is the Griffin's neighbor, and he's got a thing for boys, including Chris. The creepo made his debut in To Love and Die in Dixie by inviting Chris to perform a very inappropriate act.
Got a nice tip for you right here in my pocket for my arthritis. Why don't you reach in there and fish it out for yourself?
And he hasn't gotten any more pleasant from there. Herbert loves to watch Chris eat hot dogs, spies on him through the window, and attempts to catch children in a butterfly net. At one point, he even asks Brian for an ice cream truck. Super creepy.
You know, with colorful pictures of ice cream treats. And it plays a tune that's fun for the young children.
Number 9, Peter blows up a hospital. In this episode from season 15, Peter and Lois misguidedly become vehement anti-vaxxers.
We were gonna get Stewie vaccinated, but now after our research, we're definitely not.
As if that's not dark enough, Peter mentions that he destroyed the entire town's supply of vaccines, and the scene then cuts to a parody of The Dark Knight. Peter is dressed as the Joker and walking away from an exploding hospital, with who knows how many people dying in the process. Once again, Peter is presumably committing mass murder, this time in an act of domestic terrorism. If that wasn't dark enough, he then makes a comment about going home and...
All right, what else did I have to do today? Ah, yes, overdose in my apartment. I better get home.
Which references the death of Joker actor Heath Ledger. It's a rather vicious 1-2 punch that may leave some jaws on the floor. Number 8, Terminal News.
Well, I better tell Cleveland. I got a knack for delivering bad news.
I don't know how to tell you this, Mr. Devaney, so I'll let these guys do it.
You have AIDS.
Shocking Family Guy musical numbers are nothing new. They've been going strong since season 4. In the 4th season episode, The Cleveland Loretta Quagmire, Peter is seen with a barbershop quartet giving a man his AIDS diagnosis through song and dance. The crew admitted that the joke was meant to be tasteless in the DVD commentary, and their intentions were realized, as several AIDS organizations protested the song and its content. Family Guy goes to dark places, and cheerfully singing about a deadly pandemic and jokingly call it full-blown AIDS is undoubtedly one of its darkest moments.
You've got the AIDS.
Number 7, Stewie gets revenge on Olivia and Victor.
Stewie, this is Victor. We did a Flintstones vitamins commercial together.
10 million strong and growing.
We know Stewie is psychotic, but we didn't think he'd ever go this far. In the episode Chick Cancer, Stewie reunites with his old musical pal Olivia Fuller when she returns to Quahog. However, Stewie later finds Olivia playing with her friend Victor, and feeling betrayed, he sets the playhouse on fire with Olivia and Victor inside.
Is that smoke?
Idea for a farce. Cheating wife and Papa's ass burned alive.
This obviously isn't meant to be taken seriously, but watching them be set on fire makes for some incredibly difficult viewing. While Olivia would return in season 15, viewers went 10 years with no reason to think Stewie wasn't a murderer.
You know, the last time I saw you, you were...
Burning in a cardboard house?
Yeah, burning in a cardboard house, yeah.
Number 6, Brian's fate.
Brian,
out! Ah, Brian!
Unlike its animated peers, Family Guy isn't known for packing dramatic punches. But Brian's death certainly got the tears flowing. In Life of Brian, Brian is run over by a car. His injuries are horrific and sad enough, but then the Griffins learn that they'll have to put him down. Brian says a touching farewell before passing away.
You've given me a wonderful life.
While Stewie would eventually save his pal with the power of time travel, his initial death was both terribly sad and painfully dark, especially for those who've gone through similar situations with their beloved pets.
Wow, Stewie, thank you for saving my life. You know, a lot of other families would have just gotten a different dog and moved on.
We could never do something like that, Brian.
Number 5, Brenda's boyfriend.
She's a hot piece of ass, and from the looks of it, she likes it rough.
That's my sister, Brian. Her boyfriend has been beating her mercilessly. The last thing she'd want right now is to be objectified.
Oh, God, I'm really sorry.
I got a deaf brother. You want to make fun of him, too?
Family Guy often covers touchy and dramatic subjects, but it usually does it with surrealism and/or tongue-in-cheek humor. Not so with Brenda's violent boyfriend, Jeff. In the episode Jerome is the New Black, Quagmire is sheltering his sister from the abuse when Jeff shows up with a baseball bat. Their story is given significant attention in the episode Screams of Silence, the story of Brenda Q, as the Griffins and Quagmire attempt to save the submissive and defensive Brenda from her relationship. It's all taken unusually seriously, and their story can be a little too realistic and upsetting for some to handle.
Wow. I guess he's really gone.
I kind of want to kill somebody else now.
Number 4, Stewie and Brian's Christmas home invasion. Well, so much for holiday cheer. In the Christmas special Road to the North Pole, Stewie and Brian take on the role of Santa, when the real Santa is too sick and exhausted. But their first stop proves to be disastrous.
All right, look, let's just go. Right, we'll go. I'm just going to rewrap this bat for, Johnny. Let me just clean his father's blood and hair off it.
Daddy, I want a drink of water.
Stewie attacks the father with a baseball bat. He and Brian physically attack the mother after she discovers his body, and they tie up the daughter with duct tape. It's unclear if the two survived, but judging by the spilled blood, we're gonna say no. It's a horribly gruesome scene that perfectly highlights the show's penchant for shock value and excessive violence.
All right, come on, let's get out of here.
Number 3, Brian's revelation.
Just tell me, come on.
No.
Come on, please.
The episode Brian and Stewie is a bit of an enigma. Not only is it light on the jokes, but it also features just those characters while tackling some extremely heavy subject matter, like finding out that Brian has contemplated taking his own life.
Sometimes it's all too much.
What is?
Life, everything.
Given that Brian is a staunch supporter of gun control, Stewie naturally asks him why he has a gun in his safety deposit box. Brian then reluctantly reveals that he's unhappy and finds comfort in the fact that he has a way out. While Peter has also broached the topic, Brian's scene is taken much more seriously and is one of the show's most upsetting and dramatic sequences.
I mean, I love you as one loves another person whom one simply cannot do without.
Well, I love you too, Stewie.
Number 2, Peter Griffin Jr.
And you better be responsible tonight. I don't want a repeat of the last time I left you alone with one of our children. It's just so horrible.
The episode The Juice is Loose contains what is arguably the darkest cutaway in the show's history, and that is saying something. After Lois reminds Peter of what he did the last time he was alone with the children, the episode cuts to Peter Jr.'s grave. Peter explains that he thought shaking Peter Jr. would stop him from crying, and then in true Family Guy fashion, adds that he was kinda right. Only Family Guy can make a joke out of something like that and have it work. But even then, it's hard not to say they went too far.
I'm sorry, Lois. I thought if I shook him enough, he'd stop crying. I was kind of right.
Number 1, Quagmire's behavior towards the Simpsons.
See, that wasn't so bad, was it?
Oh, I gotta say, that was fantastic.
What do you say we go back to your place for round 2?
Sounds good to me.
They might be rivals, but this is just way too much. In the episode Movin' Out Brian's Song, a fake promotion for The Simpsons appears on screen, and things turn horrific when Quagmire appears and he forces himself on Marge off-screen. Hugely problematically, Marge ends up liking it and she takes him home. When Homer walks in, Quagmire shoots the entire family.
You're amazing, Glenn.
Oh, I just take a lot of pride in what I do.
Hey,
What's going on here?
Unsurprisingly, Fox said no way and pulled the joke from the air. They later told the producers of both shows that they could no longer attack each other. The gag was eventually reinstated for the DVD release for all to watch in disbelief and disgust.
Oh no! Who will pay for my saxophone lessons?
It's a cartoon, but it never treated its audience like kids. Yes, Batman the Animated Series tackled some serious themes, and it got dark more times than not.
Hi, Puddin'! You're just in time to see the...
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 darkest Batman the Animated Series moments.
The monster who took you from me will soon learn that revenge is a dish best served cold.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most disturbing, upsetting, or downright depressing moments found in this acclaimed DC show, as well as its direct sequel series, The New Batman Adventures. If you haven't seen both shows, beware of spoilers ahead. Which of these moments did you find to be the darkest? Are there any big ones we left off? Number 10. Unwelcome Visions. On paper, the ventriloquist and Scarface may seem like a silly duo. One is a puppeteer while the other is a crime boss dummy. But the creators knew how to make even this compelling by tapping into the former's damaged mental state.
What's the matter, dummy? Having a bad day? Who's there? Thought you could get rid of me, huh? Pull some sort of psychobabble snuff job. No.
Double Talk follows the ventriloquist after he's released from Arkham and attempts to turn over a new leaf. Unfortunately, he's plagued by visions and conversations with his dangerous alter ego, eventually reaching his breaking point.
How long are you gonna stand there and stare? Give me a ballpark so I can plan my day. Pick me up already! Good boy.
It's later revealed these were faked by Scarface's goons, but it shows how difficult it can be for a mentally ill person to function without a proper support system.
Arnold, don't do this. It's out of my hands. He's the puppet, not you. Don't listen to him, dummy. He's playing you like a cheap fiddle. Do him already.
He feels there's no escape from his old life, making the viewer feel deeply sympathetic. Number 9. Letting it out. Superheroes are usually pretty sure-footed in their cause, and that's especially the case with Batman. However, a moment where the hero questions his entire purpose is one of his lowest points on the show.
Hey, Bats, don't worry about me. I don't need help from some jerk in long underwear.
After rescuing a boy in need, Batman is late to a crime scene, which turns out to be a setup in order to get to Commissioner Gordon. One of Gotham's finest is put in the hospital, and both Batman and Harvey Bullock place the blame on the Caped Crusader's shoulders.
Don't blame yourself. You caught the man who shot him.
If I'd been there. You should have been there, pointy ears. Then maybe Pete might have shot the right guy.
Returning to the Batcave, he destroys much of his equipment in an explosion of guilt and rage. The episode's build-up is handled so well that this reaction is both natural and sorrowful. Number 8. Waking from a Dream. Many fictional characters have had to escape from simulations of carefree alternate realities designed to keep them there. However, Bruce Wayne has some very good reasons to be tempted.
Son, you sound upset. Is something the matter?
No, it's impossible.
The majority of this episode is a dream concocted from the Mad Hatter's tech and focuses on Bruce's life had his parents never been murdered. Not only that, but he's also engaged to a crime-free Selina Kyle. However, his mind won't let him forget that something's wrong.
You need professional help. Liar! You know what's going on. This is a dream, and you're the one responsible.
Batman has always had to sacrifice his own happiness to keep Gotham safe, and this episode is one big reminder of that. It reaches peak darkness when Bruce must throw himself off a building just to wake up.
This isn't an ordinary dream. What if you're wrong? Then I'll see you in your nightmares.
Number 7. House of Mirrors. An original villain to the show, Baby Doll was born with a condition that keeps her young.
Naughty, naughty baby. Haven't I told you not to run off?
I didn't mean to.
She starred in her own sitcom, but life grew increasingly harder after the show ended. It leads her to kidnap her co-stars in a twisted way to recapture those better days.
Mary Doll? Is this a joke?
No, sillies. I'm Baby, member? It's Susie and Tippy and Mumsy and Daddy and Baby together again forever and ever.
Being an adult trapped in the body of a toddler sounds like a nightmare. The creators perfectly summed up this despair in the final moments of Baby Doll's first episode. As Batman chases her through an amusement park, the two enter a house of mirrors, each of which warp Baby Doll's appearance. She has an emotional breakdown at the sight of her as an adult. Sobbing, she hugs Batman and utters her signature catchphrase with far more emotional weight.
I didn't mean to.
Number 6. Annie returns home.
Finally, you've come back to me.
Clayface.
With his ability to shapeshift, Clayface is undeniably one of Batman's craftiest rogues. However, his levels of disturbing reached new heights in this episode of the New Batman Adventures. For most of the runtime, Tim Drake helps a sweet girl named Annie, who's being followed by a new criminal in Gotham. By the end, it's revealed that this new criminal is Clayface in disguise, and he's hunting Annie because she's actually a part of him.
But he wasn't strong yet, and he didn't know where he was. So he created me, and sent me off to find out if it was safe.
Even still, this part has clearly developed sentience, and Robin does his best to defend her. Unfortunately, it's him who needs rescuing, and his new friend sacrifices herself to save him. Her death is all kinds of disturbing, as she's swallowed up with no chance of a goodbye.
Run, Robin! Hurry!
Number 5. Big Bad Harv. Harvey Dent's descent has been adapted through many different mediums, but the version seen in the animated series remains one of our favorites.
Harv, take it easy. This kind of behavior doesn't go over well with the voters.
Let go of me, you rich twit!
Harvey!
The DA is hell-bent on cleaning up Gotham, drawing the ire of crime boss Rupert Thorne. Through therapy, we see that Harvey has always tried to keep his anger bottled up, manifesting in a dangerous case of dissociative identity disorder. Unfortunately, Thorne blackmails Dent, leading to a confrontation at a chemical plant.
There's just one problem.
What's that?
You're talking to the wrong Harvey.
Despite Batman's best efforts, he's unable to stop an explosion that leaves half of Harvey's body disfigured and his entire mind broken. Viewers saw the DA as Bruce's close friend early on, so his transition to villainy would already sting, but detailing Harvey's mental state made it more impactful.
Harvey!
Goodbye, Grace.
Number 4. The death of Robin's parents.
Okay, Dick, you ready?
Ready, Dad?
The series establishes Dick Grayson as Batman's sidekick long before his backstory is revealed. This allows viewers to care for him and the duo's relationship, which in turn makes his origin much sadder.
Keep my number handy. You're gonna be calling Tony Zuko and Sue. Out of my way, punk.
Through flashbacks, we see how Dick and his parents worked for the circus when he was a boy. Sadly, a gangster named Tony Zuko tried to shake down the ringmaster. He ended up cutting through some rope used in the Flying Grayson's act when he didn't get paid. The subsequent death of Robin's parents is already tragic. The fact that Bruce saw himself in the young boy, who then had to leave the only life he'd ever known, just makes everything worse.
Look, Dick, it's not gonna be easy. You have to take it a day at a time. But for however long it takes, you have a home with us.
Number 3. The cycle of abuse. Throughout the series, we see that Harley Quinn is clearly in an abusive relationship with the Joker. No matter what he does, she always comes back.
Oh, come on, Puddin'. Don't you want to rev up your Harley? Vroom, vroom.
Mad Love flashes back to how she met the villain, while present-day scenes show her trying to off Batman so that she and Puddin' can settle down. But the Joker makes it clear that only he should be the one who does it, greeting his lady love with immense anger instead of gratitude.
But Puddin', I don't understand. Don't you want to finally get rid of Batman?
Only if I do it, idiot.
It's hard to single out one moment as the darkest since the whole episode is pitch black. However, Joker tossing Harley out a window just for trying to make him happy is a big contender.
You've forgotten what I told you a long time ago. One of the painful truths of comedy. You always take shots from folks who just don't get the joke.
Sadly, by the end, she shows she'll still forgive him.
I finally see that slime for what he is. A murderous, manipulative, irredeemable
angel.
Number 2. Barbara Gordon's Nightmare. Despite its reputation as one of the darker superhero cartoons, viewers aren't usually confronted with the death of a main character. However, Over the Edge shows how that might play out.
Oh no, Wayne. No vanishing act this time.
The episode opens with Gordon and his police hunting Batman and Robin, while an eventual flashback explains why. During an attack on City Hall led by the Scarecrow, the villain hits Batgirl from behind, sending her unconscious body to the streets below. Surprisingly, no one comes to her rescue, and she collides with her father's own car, dying in his arms moments later.
How could you? I worked with you, trusted you, and you never told me? She was my daughter. My daughter.
In reality, the episode is her worst nightmare, brought on by Scarecrow's fear toxin. But the episode structure makes it feel real and scarred many kids in the process.
You and my father at each other's throats because I was killed without ever telling him about this.
Number 1. Nora's Fate.
Freeze! That's Mr. Freeze to you.
Prior to appearing on the animated series, Mr. Freeze was far from the deepest supervillain. Thankfully, the showrunners reinvented him through a backstory equal parts compelling and heartbreaking. Heart of Ice follows Batman investigating a string of robberies at Goth Corp offices. This leads him to Victor Freeze, and eventually, the reasoning behind his hatred for the company's CEO.
Behind me you see the CC-100. A cryogenic freezing chamber of my own design. I created it for the express purpose of freezing subjects stricken with inoperable ailments. Subjects like my own beloved wife, Nora.
While watching old footage, he learns Freeze was a scientist who cryogenically froze his wife Nora when she grew terminally ill. He then watches in horror as Freeze's funding is cut, and a confrontation leads to him becoming the future villain.
My God. Yes. It would move me to tears if I still had tears to shed.
Not only did this moment completely alter everyone's perception of the character, but it proved the show was willing to take risks with darker storylines.
I can only beg your forgiveness and pray you'll hear me somehow. Someplace where a warm hand waits for mine.
Don't let the colorful characters in Candy Kingdom fool you. Adventure Time has gone to some dark places. But don't take my word for it. Watch this.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 darkest moments on Adventure Time. For this list, we're looking at the times this adventurous kid show made us hide under our covers and gave even adults nightmares. What dark or disturbing moment scarred you for life while exploring the Candy Kingdom? Number 10. Only One. During a storytime episode with Cuber, this time about the 5 stages of grief, the Earl of Lemongrab and his brother are playing with their doll Lemon Sweets, but disagree about what their child's next activity should be.
What would you like to do now? Go to bed. No, he wants to dance.
After fetching a bedtime bonnet, Lemongrab 2 is horrified to find the Earl dancing with Lemon Sweets and attempts to stop him.
We hate you.
In the struggle, Lemon Sweets shatters on the floor, sending the Earl into a rage before devouring his brother alive as the scene abruptly ends. We don't know Lemongrab 2's fate until a few episodes later, when he's unfortunately eaten whole again.
Graham Cracker, yes sir!
Number 9. Simon and Marcy's Past. Simon and Marceline are some of the oldest characters on Adventure Time, surviving in the world since the days after the Great Mushroom War.
You want to watch a movie?
Yeah.
Man, this is a boring movie.
We get a brief look at their time together during a flashback, where a pre-Ice King Simon who hasn't yet succumbed to the crown takes care of a young Marcy in the post-apocalyptic world. After accidentally awakening a horde of mutants, even as Marcy protests, Simon puts on the crown to protect the future vampire queen.
Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot.
Watching Simon attempt to maintain control against the crown for Marcy's sake while singing the theme song to Cheers is both heartbreaking and unsettling, as we know that Simon will eventually lose his battle with the crown.
Do you feel awesome?
Mm-hmm. I love you, Simon.
I love you, Gunter.
Number 8. The Glitch. Adventure Time has never been afraid to get more experimental with its episodes, and that is no better personified than in the episode A Glitch is a Glitch.
Oh.
Escape, Jake! Escape!
All right, hold on.
After Ice King unleashes a computer virus on the land of Oo to delete everyone and everything except for him and Princess Bubblegum, Finn and Jake find themselves inside the universal source code, where Jake immediately creates a snake/spider abomination straight out of our nightmares. In order to save the kingdom, Finn and Jake recreate the disgusting video Ice King sent to them by devouring Finn's luscious blonde locks one mouthful at a time, causing the virus to vomit the world back to normal. Just thinking about it is enough to make our stomachs turn. Number 7. That one's going in the vault. What starts out as a masquerade party quickly goes south as Finn, Jake, and Princess Bubblegum try to unravel the mystery of who is killing the guests at the party. While you would think the most disturbing part would be the horrific ways the guests were all dispatched, it's during Finn and Jake's attempt to escape the murderous ghost when things truly take a turn.
Run, homie, run!
Locked in a library, a grinning green apparition phases through the wall, creeping towards Finn. Even though he escapes, the house itself comes to life and continues to attack him. Although everyone was okay by the end, the haunting image is enough for Finn to delete it from his memory entirely.
And it's gone.
Number 6. The Fruit Witches. Adventure Time is full of moments that can completely catch the viewer off guard, but none were as unexpected as when Finn and Jake attempted to make their way through their late father's mystery dungeon, which was designed to toughen up Finn and make him a great hero. Distracted by his father's lack of faith in him, Finn attempts to prove his father wrong and face one of the trials head-on by partaking in the fruit the fairies are offering.
Don't eat that!
Why not? All the people that I care about in this world are being wads.
He's narrowly saved by Jake, who forces one of the fairies to eat the fruit instead, instantly transforming her into a giant apple. The remaining fairies reveal their true form and immediately begin to tear into the apple's flesh, which disturbingly has a bony core inside. Number 5. The Lemon Kingdom Residents. After receiving a letter from the Lemon Kingdom telling them that its residents are starving, PB sends Finn and Jake to deliver seeds so the Lemon Grabs can grow their own candy. However, upon their arrival, it becomes immediately clear that everything in the Lemon Kingdom has gone a bit sour.
Kiss it!
Sorry, dudes, we got no fruit. No.
While exploring the castle, Finn and Jake find increasingly disturbing things behind every door, such as enormous organs and disgusting lemon mutations.
Nope.
It's full of abominations straight out of a John Carpenter or David Cronenberg film. And they even witnessed the creation of the Lemon Grab's newest monstrosity, Seedwad.
We'll call you Seedwad!
Number 4. The Blank-Eyed Girls. The world of Adventure Time is full of strange, weird, and sometimes disturbing characters and events, but there's usually some kind of explanation for them. After being creeped out by Starchy's conspiracy radio show, Finn and Jake are terrorized by a group of young girls with emotionless faces and cold black eyes.
Starchy? She invited herself in. Hey, run!
Starchy, she's staring right at us.
Oh, I got it. Fairy rules. Try offering her some cream in a saucer. That should appease the blank-eyed girl's hunger and send her away.
Gotcha. Jake, go get the cream.
What? No, you go. This is your deal.
Just go.
Okay, jeez.
Thank you.
Despite Finn's numerous attempts to explain them or find ways to get rid of them, more and more girls appear until the entire treehouse is filled with them. To Finn and Jake's bewilderment and horror, the girls pop off their eyes, heads, and even skin before transforming into nothing more than ethereal wisps carried on the wind into the night. No in-universe explanation has ever been given for this nightmare fuel.
What the junk was that?
I think it was beautiful.
Number 3. Possessed Princess. Anytime the Lich is involved, the episode is guaranteed to lead to some of the series' darkest moments. After the Ice King gets the dropsies, PB becomes possessed by the Lich, and things just keep getting weirder from there.
Oh, jeez! What's wrong with Princess Bubblegum?
Quiet, dude. We're supposed to take care of her, not make her feel bad.
I know, man, but she just seems weird.
She's just messed up from the accident, man. We just have to take care of her till she feels better.
Okay, dude.
You just know things are jacked up when even Peppermint Butler is running away. What starts as a recreation of scenes from The Exorcist quickly evolves into something far worse, as possessed PB kills all the flowers in the room with a single touch before igniting the remains. And with a melting PB calling Jake's name.
Jake!
The poor magical pup is sent fleeing from the room with his tail between his legs. And we are just as happy as he is to be out of there.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! Maybe the toxic waste did something to her brain. Made her have demon powers. Or something. Yo, dude, wait! What's all that biz?
Bleach, lighter fluid, ammonia, gasoline, I don't know. Lady stuff. Plutonium.
No, man. No. No.
Number 2. Freak Deer. Even seemingly mundane things can have a twist in the Candy Kingdom. After both Finn and Jake are injured trying to corral a renegade deer, Finn awakens to an empty kingdom. Even finding Jake doesn't provide many answers or comfort, as his head injury has left him confused, believing everyone is hiding for a surprise party.
Don't worry. Ouch! They're all hiding.
From what?
Discovering he's been unconscious for 6 months, Finn investigates the sounds of candy people in the sewers and finds all the residents stuck to the walls and ceilings by the deer, slowly decomposing in its saliva.
Surprise! Surprise! Surprise!
As if that wasn't bad enough, the deer rises to its hind legs and removes its hooves to reveal freaky little hands. Still creeps us out just thinking about it.
Freak deer!
Jake, you free the candy people. I'll take on the deer.
Yeah!
Number 1. An alternate timeline. Finding himself in an alternate timeline where the Lich never existed, Finn witnessing his family nearly burning to death is only the start of the horrors this 2-part episode has in store.
Destiny! 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 Destiny!
Yeah! How did I even get here, son?
Mom! Dad!
No!
You said this thing is magic?
Yes, powerful and dangerous.
Wielding the power of the Ice King's crown, Finn inadvertently ignites the bomb that started the Mushroom War and unleashes the Lich into the world.
What's happening? More! I'll save you!
Watching Finn succumb to the crown's powers, and not to mention seeing this new world's Jake becoming corrupted by the Well of Power and transforming into the Lich itself, is almost too much.
From tragic losses to unsettling villains, we're ending things today with Time's The Power Rangers got especially dark.
Kind of quiet around here. Too quiet.
Don't say that. Whenever someone says that in the movies, something bad happens.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 darkest moments on Power Rangers.
Scorpius, I will have my revenge.
For this list, we'll be looking at the grimmest, most disturbing, and borderline traumatic scenes from the usually lighthearted superhero franchise. As much as we love the comics, we'll only be focusing on the TV series and movies. Since these moments can get very story-heavy, expect spoilers ahead. Which Ranger moment chilled you to the bone? Number 20. The end of the Green Ranger, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It turns out that Rita doesn't like it when her evil Green Rangers abandon her. When Tommy turns on her, she conjures up a magic candle that steals Tommy's powers as it burns.
Why am I here?
It's simple. If you serve Rita, you can keep your powers. If not, you'll lose them when the candle burns out.
What candle?
The green candle.
When Jason goes to retrieve the candle, he is forced to make a difficult decision that would haunt him.
Come on. You gave up too easily.
An intense battle on Earth ends up endangering Tommy's life. In order to save his teammate, Jason abandons hopes of getting the candle back and lets Tommy's Green Ranger powers fade away.
It was great being a Ranger, Zordon. You'll always be with me. I'm sorry, Tommy. We tried to get the candle. You did what you had to do. My powers are with you now. Use them to defeat Rita. You can count on it, man.
For a famously lighthearted and goofy season, this was a surprisingly grim moment that highlights that not every decision we make will be easy. Number 19. A terrifying rescue mission, Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. When Terra Venture receives a distress beacon, Mike and Leo lead a team of GSA soldiers on a rescue mission inside an unknown spacecraft.
Thanks for coming. I feel a lot better with you along.
Wouldn't miss it. Just watch my back.
The mission quickly becomes something out of a horror film. Although the ship is dark, covered in webs, and the only parts of the ship's crew left are gooey remains, the heroes aren't alone. They find themselves being hunted by a vicious and lightning-fast alien monster that picks them off one at a time.
He got Jasper!
What got Jasper?
Something! He came out of the shadows, sir! Grabbed him, and then they were both gone!
A rescue mission quickly becomes a fight to make it out alive. Thankfully, everyone survives in the end. But the tense, foreboding atmosphere makes this one of the scariest episodes of the whole Power Rangers series. Number 18. Did Something Happen to Me? Power Rangers Operation Overdrive. Throughout Operation Overdrive, there are subtle hints that Mac might be more than meets the eye. Eventually, the truth is found out in one of the biggest plot twists of the series. It's revealed that Mac is actually an android Dr. Hartford designed.
You're an android. I created you.
That's impossible.
He was built only 2 years prior to the events of the series. To sell the ruse, Mac was given false memories of a childhood that never happened.
I wanted you to be like every other kid.
I'm not! I'm a machine!
Suffice it to say, Mac is an emotional mess when all these truths are revealed. Learning that everything he ever believed about his life was all a lie was pretty dark. And if that wasn't disturbing enough for you, there's a lovely shot of Mac's detached cyborg head to seal the deal.
Did something happen to me? Yeah.
Number 17. Decker's Defeat. Power Rangers Super Samurai. When you look at the facts, Decker's whole life is dark on its own. He was cursed as a half-human / half-Nihilok with no memory of his former life. All Decker had was an insatiable need to find a worthy opponent to break his curse.
I knew we had something in common the moment I met you. Hiding that secret made you twisted like me.
We have nothing in common.
Maybe you don't think so, but I can see in your eyes the same need to fight, the need to prove yourself worthy.
After 2 seasons of build-up, he finally gets his ultimate duel against Red Ranger Jaden. Despite how exhausted both warriors get, Decker refuses to quit. He keeps going even when he's too tired to lift his sword. Although Jaden doesn't want to strike the final blow, Decker still keeps trying to provoke his opponent. When Blue Ranger Kevin strikes the villain down, he happily embraces the end in a truly grim scene.
I feel so sorry for Lauren. She spent her whole life learning the ceiling symbol.
Number 16. Lord Zedd's Twisted Demands. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. You know you've hit rock bottom when you're forced to negotiate with the devil. Pink Ranger Kimberly was once held hostage.
There's gotta be something we can do, Zordon. We can't lose Kimberly. I can't lose her.
With her life force fading away, the Rangers are left with no choice but to allow Lord Zedd into the command center to make a deal. Zedd's demands are simple and wicked. The Rangers must either serve him and pilot his evil Zords, or risk letting one of their own perish.
You agree to pilot my new fleet of Zords and do all my evil bidding, or you can refuse my offer, in which case we can all sit around and have a jolly time watching the Pink Ranger race away.
This situation is grim enough with the original Pink Ranger's life on the line, but seeing the villain sit smugly in the Ranger's sacred sanctuary with all the cards in his favor is just bone-chilling. Number 15. The truth behind Cole's parents. Power Rangers Wild Force. For all his life, Cole desperately wanted to know what became of his parents. Tragically, what he finds is not good news.
Cole! They'll be destroyed soon. Just like your parents.
What?
His parents were once close with a human named Dr. Adler. However, the medical professional became bitterly jealous of their love. After turning himself into a monster, Master Org put an end to his suffering by making them suffer the ultimate price.
I will have my revenge!
I was no longer a weak human being.
You did it. You took the seeds, didn't you?
I became Master Org.
Cole's parents were good people who were dedicated to protecting the Earth. Unfortunately, their lives were cut short because someone they dared to call a friend let his bitterness consume him. It's a heavy storyline that made Cole's fight against evil feel a lot more painful and personal. Number 14. Kruger Loses Everything. Power Rangers SPD. The realization that you're the sole survivor of a conflict can be a lot to handle. Unfortunately, Commander Kruger knows all too well what that's like. The evil Emperor Grum once invaded the commander's homeworld, Sirius.
Though our men fought valiantly,
Attack!
We were no match for the endless army of Trubians.
Victory is mine!
Although Kruger tried his best to lead the charge and fight against the invaders, he lost. He was overpowered, his wife was taken, and his planet was conquered. Kruger was left thinking that he was the very last of his kind. That dreaded day haunted Kruger so much that he vowed never to pick up his sword again. But when a shadow of his past comes back to finish him off, he faces his inner demons and fights again. Number 13. Dayu's Dark Deal with Serrator, Power Rangers Samurai. While Nilox thrive on human fear and misery, Dayu is arguably more miserable than anyone on Earth. Once upon a time, she was a human that was married to Decker, but her love was fatally wounded in a house fire. Dayu was so desperate to save him that she made a deal with the Nilok King Serrator.
I can save him for a price.
Please.
Simply trade your humanity for an eternity in the netherworld.
After agreeing to trade her humanity so that Decker may live, she realizes that she agreed to a terrible deal. Serrator made Decker half Nilok with no memory of his humanity or Dayu.
He shall live, but as a cursed half-human and half-Nilok, with no memory of you.
What? No. You tricked me.
Additionally, he has an unquenchable thirst for combat. Dayu, on the other hand, remembers everything. She's forced to live with the pain of losing everything she once held dear. Number 12. The End of the Wild Zords, Power Rangers Wild Force. During the season finale of Wild Force, it seemed like all the Orgs had finally been destroyed. Unfortunately, Master Org was alive, recently reached his full power, and had begun his final takeover of Earth.
Hello, Rangers. Remember me? It is I, Master Org. It is so good to see you again.
He decides to kick off his conquest by destroying the Animarium. Although the Wild Zords fight valiantly, it's not enough. One by one, Master Org effortlessly slices them into extinction.
Falcon Sword, watch out!
He's destroying the Wild Zords.
The end of the Zords means that the Rangers no longer have any powers or hope of protecting the world from Master Org's terror. Seeing these sentient animal fighters fall in battle right before the Rangers' eyes made for a disturbing scene.
Your Wild Zords are finally extinct, and soon you and the whole human race will be gone as well!
Number 11. Imperious's Dark Wish, Power Rangers Mystic Force. The Mystic Force Rangers learn the hard way that they should never stop appreciating what they have. After winning their fair share of matchups, they become overly dependent on using their magic and keep looking for mystical shortcuts. Sadly, their laziness costs them dearly when the vile Imperious takes advantage of their powers to make an evil wish.
I grant you one wish! Oh, I'm gonna regret this.
I wish there were never Mystic Force Power Rangers! No!
The villain changes reality so that the Power Rangers never came to their hometown of Briarwood. As a result, all the good magic and color is sucked away. The city is left at the mercy of the darkness. Worst of all, our heroes are powerless. All they have is the memories of their old lives and the knowledge they caused all this by taking their magic for granted.
They've taken over the whole city, and there's nothing we can do about it.
The world belongs to the forces of darkness.
We failed.
Number 10. Alex is struck down, Power Rangers Time Force. Time Force is undeniably one of the most mature seasons of the show. It cemented its role as a serious series from day one. At the very beginning of the series, Alex was the original Red Time Force Ranger and Pink Ranger Jen's fiancé. He's tasked with bringing in the mutant warlord Rancic. In the season premiere, the two clash, but Rancic comes out on top and viciously strikes Alex in the back. He lies in his fiance's arms and entrusts her to finish the mission he would never get to complete. For longtime fans, the sight of a Red Ranger dying was incredibly intense and depressing. While Alex would eventually come back due to time travel, his relationship with Jen was never the same.
Alex?
Unbelievable. You look just like me.
You're alive!
Number 9. Murloc toys with Sky. Power Rangers SPD. Murloc is essentially treated like the Hannibal Lecter of the Power Rangers franchise. Since he has the ability to travel through reflective surfaces, he's kept locked away in a remote facility. But Murloc gets a visitor when Blue Ranger Sky needs information on a fugitive.
A visitor? What a rare treat.
This isn't a social visit. I'm here on official SPD business.
The villain agrees to give up vital info if the hero recounts his saddest memory. Reluctantly, Sky tells the story of how his Red Ranger father didn't come home alive one day.
You fought until the bitter end. It was his last battle.
Once the hero sheds a single tear, Murloc escapes his cell through the tear's reflection. What makes this scene worse in hindsight is the fact that the villain slayed Sky's father. Murloc literally capitalized on the pain he caused to escape and hurt even more people. Number 8. Trakina goes too far. Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. After gaining more power, the big bad Trakina completely snaps and orchestrates a ruthless attack on the peaceful city of Terra Venture.
Welcome back, Terra Venture.
Not only does she directly assault the colony with her ship, but she attaches bombs to her Stingwingers to blow up anything they come in contact with. They go on to destroy or seriously damage both structures and Megazords.
The Megazords! They've been destroyed!
Now nothing can stop.
Even her loyal general Villamax is disgusted by her carelessness. What makes this invasion even more horrifying is how closely it parallels other real-world tragedies. Scenes like this show that there are villains that will go to truly disturbing lengths to beat the Rangers. Number 7. Rancic's Hatred. Power Rangers Time Force. Despite being a kids show, Time Force was not afraid to tackle heavy subjects like prejudice. The audience eventually learns that hatred is why the main villain Rancic became a criminal. As it turns out, he was born as a mutant due to a random accident.
And as the world above dreamed of perfect DNA, their nightmare, a mutant, was born.
Society rejected Rancic solely because he looked different. Since he couldn't bear to live in a world that wouldn't accept him, he decides to raise an army of his own kind to make humans suffer for rejecting him.
I gathered every other wretched creature and formed an army of criminals that terrorize the city.
The villains of this season only exist because society wasn't willing to give them a chance. While Power Ranger Big Bads don't always get extensive backstories, we definitely understood why Rancic was so evil. Number 6. Billy Drowns. Power Rangers. From the opening scene, it was obvious that the 2017 Power Rangers movie would be the darkest live-action Power Rangers movie yet.
Reshenu. Reshenu. Alpha. Yengsu. Axprintaku. Shenai Umpunka.
It was packed with mature themes and saw the heroes dealing with more realistic and hard-hitting problems. The bleakest moment came when Rita tied up all the Rangers. She threatens to kill them if they don't tell her where the precious Zeo crystal is. To protect his friends, Blue Ranger Billy gives up the crystal's location. Rita thanks him by letting him drown.
Zordon would lose all respect for me if I don't kill you. At least one of you. What?
His friends are forced to carry him back to the base while they're still mourning. Although Billy gets a second chance at life, the scene of his death is an image we can't get out of our heads.
Did I die?
Yes. No.
A little bit. You guys brought me back to life.
Number 5. The Power Rangers lose their base. Power Rangers Turbo. When the good mentors are away, the devious Divatox orders her troops to attack the power chamber.
You really want to know when we attack? We attack.
The Rangers attempt to fight back against the continuous forces. Unfortunately, they're grossly outnumbered. In the end, the unthinkable happens when Divatox blows up the power chamber. The Rangers thankfully survive the tremendous explosion.
Bye-bye, Rangers.
However, that doesn't make the whole sequence any less intense, and it's painful to see the normally bright and majestic power chamber darkened and being torn apart bit by bit. Up to this point, Divatox wasn't a very effective villain, but her destruction of the power chamber cemented her place in franchise evil history. Number 4. Magna Defenders Past. Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. The Galaxy Rangers weren't fond of the Magna Defender's lone warrior attitude, but can you blame him after everything he's endured?
I'll never forgive Scorpius for what he did to you, Zika, or for what he did to our planet.
Drop the jewels. You won't need them where you're going. Hey, look who survived!
It's the Magna Defender!
It is you who won't survive.
Years ago, he was a gallant, benevolent warrior and a father, but one fateful encounter with the evil Scorpius ruined his life. During the battle, Magna Defender's son rushed in to protect his father, but Scorpius snuffs the young soul right out in front of his father's eyes.
Zika! Zika, please! No! Get up!
Since that horrible day, the Magna Defender strayed from his righteous path and became a vengeful, bitter warrior determined to make Scorpius pay. While he could have been a better team player, it's understandable that he'd be so cold after losing so much. Number 3. Kendrix's Sacrifice. Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. No matter how much time has passed since the original Pink Galaxy Ranger Kendrix's demise, it never gets less tragic.
I've got to destroy it! Forever!
Kendrix! No! Kendrix! No!
This has gotta work!
During a tense battle, the heinous Psycho Pink unleashes a deadly storm that threatens to wipe out Cassie and all of Terra Venture. Kendrix rushes in and silences the storm. Unfortunately, her heroic deed comes at the cost of her life.
I'm okay. I'll always be here.
Behind the scenes, this decision was made because actress Valerie Vernon, who played the Ranger, was undergoing treatment for leukemia. It was great to hear that she recovered in real life and was able to return to the show.
I knew you'd make it here. Kendricks! You don't know how many times I wished you'd come back. I missed you.
I can't believe it. This is incredible.
Hey, thanks for everything you've done. I wouldn't have missed it for the world.
Hey, look! Looks like they're celebrating too.
But until Vernon recovered, her character's death served as a bleak dose of reality that not everyone comes back from a battle alive. Number 2. Zordon's death. Power Rangers in Space. During the season finale of In Space, the struggle between good and evil escalated to an all-out war throughout the universe. All the forces of good were left struggling to survive. Longtime Ranger mentor Zordon says the universe can be saved if his energy tube is shattered.
Only the good energy from my tube can destroy the forces of evil.
But Zordon, what's going to happen to you?
I will be gone, but my spirit will forever live in all that is good.
No, Zordon. We'll keep fighting. There's got to be another way.
There is no other way.
Goodbye again, old friend.
Unfortunately, the only person around to do it is the Red Ranger Andros. After agonizing over what needs to be done, the hero agrees to take Zordon out. A reluctant blow from Andros marks the end of an era.
Wanna dance?
Not only did Zordon help many young adults become heroic warriors, but the fans at home spent 6 seasons with him. Unlike most Ranger deaths, Zordon's demise was permanent. Number 1. Dr. K unintentionally starts an apocalypse. Power Rangers RPM. Since RPM is set in a world where a sentient computer virus was responsible for eliminating most of the human population, this season's mere existence is pretty dark.
I am Fenrix. Your world is now my world, and your time is now over.
But it's not over. Not yet. If you can hear my voice, please go now to the domed city of Corinth. It's the only place we can be safe. But you have to make it inside the city walls before the defense shield is activated. Please, hurry.
But nothing could have prepared fans for the reveal of how the world got this way. Power Ranger mentor Dr. K reveals that she was a child prodigy forced to remain inside for most of her formative years.
Can I go outside?
Outside? Sorry, honey. You're still very, very allergic to the sun.
Maybe next year. Now don't forget to make your birthday wish.
You do have a wish, don't you?
I wish I could remember my name.
In an attempt to escape the agency that had imprisoned her, she created a virus to disrupt their system. But when Dr. K's plans are interrupted, her creation escapes out into the world.
You have to let me install the firewall to stop it! Our vengeance will spread beyond Alphabet Soup! No! I just wanted to go outside! No! Please! It could infect the entire world!
she has to live with the knowledge that many lives, including the loved ones of some of her Rangers, were lost because she wanted freedom.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this special look at times TV shows got real, raw, and downright disturbing. I've been Matt from Watch Mojo, and I'll see you next time.